what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Spreading the News. Thank you for joining us here on the morning of October 3rd that we're recording this. This is episode 27, and I am proud to be here after a long week off. I am your host, Chase, and we are here with Brian.
Wait, episode 27. So would that mean the next one leading into the playoffs is 28?
Oh.
The chase for 28.
I kind of like that.
Maybe our coincidental misses have been for a reason.
It's all been leading to that. It's a chase for 28.
That's super interesting. I'm glad you picked that up now so we could prepare for that next week. It's a big episode.
Yeah.
So, Brian, how are you today?
I'm pretty good, man. I've been watching the Yanks with no worry about wins or losses, which is kind of nice recently. We'll get into that, but I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well. It's been a stressful last 2 weeks of school, but getting through it day by day and ready for some Yankees playoff baseball here in the coming days.
Playoff baseball.
Danny, how are you, buddy?
I can't believe it's already like October.
It's exciting. Love playoff baseball. I'm good. You know, the Giants, huge win yesterday again. The Jets had a great comeback.
Great
New York
win
sports are thriving.
Great win for Gang Green.
New York sports are thriving, except for a team that just lost their division, pretty much. But New York sports, man. Giants are going to the Super Bowl. Jets might be going to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Basketball's coming back.
Go Nets.
Go Knicks. Brian, thoughts?
Go Knicks, man. Of course. You know how it is.
So today's episode is going to be a little bit of a rundown of the Judge home run race, and then we're going to talk a little bit about how the playoffs are shaking up around the league, and then we're also going to talk about the Yankees clinching because they clinched while we were away. So let's actually start off with the clinching because I think that was I guess first of things that came in chronological order of real-time events. So the Yankees clinched on their second game in Toronto after Vlad said that it was his house on a walk-off single. So the Yankees clinched in Vlad Guerrero's house. How did that make you guys feel? Danny, let's start with you. I feel like I'm always starting with Brian. So let's start with you on how that made you feel when we clinched in Vlad's house.
I feel like you're always saying you're always starting with Brian and then you go to me anyway. But it was awesome. Felt good. It yeah, we should be celebrating about winning the division, obviously. It was awesome seeing them celebrate, and it was awesome. Michael K taking shots at Vlad too for that. But yeah, I mean, Vlad Guerrero Jr., cool. He hit a walk-off, nice. See on Twitter, it's the Blue Jays' biggest win of the season and whatever. Like, the Yankees were going to win that division there. The Yankees had to win one game. Like, everybody knew they were going to win the division there. So the fact that it happened the next night was awesome. And seeing the celebration after was cool. They were pretty fucked up, as shown by the lineup the next day, as nobody played.
Manager Rizzo and Glaber 1-0.
Yep. Maybe we should have them next year, player managers. But Bader chugging beers, and it was awesome. And then Josh Donaldson, king of Toronto, right? Like Nestor said. Did you guys see someone poured beer down Nestor's pants too?
Was it Cole? Did we decide that it was Cole?
You know,
the investigation was like happening, but I don't know if they found the guy.
I was looking into it a little bit, and I was trying to figure out who it was. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was awesome. It feels good to now play because we're not getting the 1 seed. Frankly, we don't even really want the 1 seed. But it's like Brian said, it's great not having to worry about wins or losses. Really, obviously, we want to get to 100, but really, it doesn't matter. So it's fun. It's fun for the last week, the last 2 series of the season. Just relax. Don't have to stress because we know we're going to be stressing a lot next week.
Brian, Vlad's house. Your initial thoughts?
Man, that was awesome. That made me so happy to clinch there. I know we've talked about this. I don't know if we did it on the pod or just like with us about talking like who we'd want to play or more like beat in the playoffs. And I think we all said Toronto because of how much we hate them. And I know I do. Like I despise that team. So to see Vlad do that the day before, we know it's like it's a running Twitter thing that every time they beat the Yankees, it's like they celebrate like they won the World Series, which is true. And then, to do that the next night in their house, their place, clinch the division. Judge gets 61 there too. Like Yankees celebrating there. And the Yankees celebrated, like Danny's saying, like they should win They should celebrate for winning the division, and they really deserve that big celebration for that win because this has been a tough season for them. Like a lot of ups and downs. Obviously they were the best team in baseball, then they were the worst team in baseball. Kind of figured their stuff out recently, and they look pretty good again. And they're ready for the playoffs. They deserved a big celebration for that division win. We thought the division was in question at some point, so now that they finally locked it down, like proud of them as a team. Like they did it after all the trials and tribulations of the year. They did it. They won the division. So and they weren't even really division favorites going into the year, so it's still a big accomplishment. And I'm happy for them. I can't wait to see what we do. I mean, it's gonna be stressful, but October's coming. Let's do it.
And obviously, it was it was cool to win the division right there the next night. Then the next night with our AAA lineup we beat them again. We crushed them again, 8-3. That's just awesome. You're
I
losing.
think
You're losing the division. Two, you're losing to the Yankees. The next game, you're losing to the Yankees lineup that obviously just doesn't care anymore because they won. They don't give a shit, and you still lost to them. So hate them.
I think
Hate
Glaber was
Toronto.
was hungover the next day. Did you guys see the pictures of Glaber sitting on the dugout
Yeah.
top stoop and he's just
Yeah.
like this? He's just like he I don't know. He just looked depressed and like why would Glaber's a happy guy. Like Glaber's always smiling. So
They deserve that celebration. Didn't they have a day off the next day too? They probably went nuts again.
Yeah. And Cole, you could see like in the clubhouse, Cole was weird. He was like a high school. It looks like he was getting drunk in high school again. Bader, I said chugging the beers. Oswaldo looked like he was having the time of his life, which he
yeah,
probably was having the
Nestor
time
was
of his
going
life,
crazy.
Peraza too was like,
which is
Really,
sad.
I didn't really see that.
nah. I saw
Peraza
the
had that
picture.
selfie with Stanton.
Yeah,
It's always fun watching. It's always fun getting a feel for them, like what they're like off the baseball field. Like, of course, they're still in uniform and they're still like doing their job, but like it's always cool to see how they are outside of that.
one of my one of my favorite moments from that was the bullpen, or I mean, it was he like FaceTiming Mike King. He deserved to be a part of that celebration. To see him like there, like on FaceTime, like pumping his fist while they're like throwing the champagne at each other was really cool. That made me happy. Yeah, and I miss you, Kinger.
It's funny. I didn't see anyone FaceTime Chad Green. I guess they just forgot
Weird.
about Chad. We're a little weird. And
Wonder why.
do they get division rings or no? They do, right? Don't they get division rings?
Division rings?
I remember that being a thing like 1 year, but I don't know if they
Yeah,
do
I
it
don't know if they
anymore.
still do it.
Well, if they do, Joey Gallo is he getting one? I mean, who knows? Are you looking it up
Yeah.
right now, Danny?
If Gallo would get one, or
No, not if Gallo would get one. If they get division rings. I don't
no,
know. I don't know if they do,
don't. They
but
don't.
they don't. Okay, well,
Gallo would get a World Series ring.
he would, and he has the chance with two rosters to get it.
Yeah,
I mean, the Dodgers. I think we can agree that by far the Dodgers are the best team in baseball so far, or at least right now. I mean, they are.
The Braves.
Yeah, the Braves too. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. We'll get into the Braves in a little bit.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
What was I gonna say? Oh, okay, so yeah, to finish off that Blue Jays series, in the third game, Judge hit 61. Danny, you spoke on that a little bit. Judge tied Roger Maris, and for me, honestly, it was like for me personally, it was an emotional moment because I tweeted on our Twitter account that you can like if you look at the video of Maris Jr. and Judge's mom, you can see like when Judge makes contact with the ball, Roger Maris Jr. like stands up and he's like, "Oh my God, like it's actually happening!" Like he just tied like dad, like he just tied my dad, and like you can see like that shock and that like almost kind of pain in his eyes, but then like kind of a few seconds through, then he like you can see in his eyes that like he accepts it, and then he's just like there and he's just like enjoying the moment with Mrs. Judge, and it was just like a really cool moment to see. I think the Yes Network did an awesome job at capturing that and capturing everyone's reactions. I mean, I even saw DJ in the dugout with his arms in the air. I saw all these guys, everyone. Peraza was taking a bat and he was hitting the ground with the bat. I mean, It was a really cool
Donaldson,
moment. Yeah, Donaldson was going ham. It was a really cool moment.
they don't want it as much as he does.
Did you guys have a favorite, I guess, reaction to that?
But I like Boone's reaction. Like the hug with Boone when
How
he got
about
back into the dugout.
Judge and Stanton making a
Yeah,
toast with
that
water?
probably was. Yeah, that was the coolest. Like I've watched that 100 times. Watched the home run 100 times. That was cool. Like the look they gave each other was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, they were just like eyeing each other down in the dugout and like almost like okay, like I see you. Because obviously Stanton hit 59 in his career, and Judge obviously, was able to do what Stanton couldn't do. And then
Stanton said that.
yeah, and they made a toast with water. I thought it was a really cool moment. And especially the day after clinching the division, it's just like everything just felt like it was coming together really nicely in that series. Um, But yeah, and now Judge, I mean, we're here like what, a week and a half later. Um, he's still trying to hit 62. So we're going into the final series of the year now against Texas. That starts tonight. Let's start with this. Brian, will Judge hit 62?
Yes, I do believe he will. I mean, I do believe he will, but I'm not even gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if he's not. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I want him to do it. We all want him to do it. He's gonna do it. I just think people are like putting like obviously a lot on him, which of course they will, but you have to think like from his perspective, like how tough that's got to be. Like every time you go up and hit, like everyone's just expecting you to hit a home run. Like it's not the easiest way to hit, and guys go on like droughts like that. Sure, like he has been great the whole year, but you can go 3 games without a homer. That's all he's got left. I mean,
4.
I was just actually like looking today. It's 4 left. They have 4
Yeah,
games
because we have a
left.
doubleheader on tomorrow.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is the
So
makeup series from like opening
It was
opening.
literally opening series. It was opening
Yeah.
series.
okay. So 3 days, 4 games. Like Marcus Semien who finished year with 26 homers. That guy's a home run hitter. He hit 45 last year. Went the first 41 games without a single homer this year. Like it happens. Like these droughts happen, especially when you have so much on him like that. Like I'm saying, like he's done a great job of like not really getting away from his approach, still taking his walks. Then he goes out there like yesterday and strikes out 3 times in his last home chance to do it at home. So it's like it's hard. I do think he'll get one because I feel like the pressure isn't as much when he's at Yankee Stadium in the pinstripes, and I'm gonna say that he will do it, and it'll be a cool moment there because you know I really want it to happen. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why I think he's gonna do it.
Danny, will Judge hit 62?
Yeah, I mean, you want to say yeah. I think so. I mean, people don't understand the amount of pressure. Like he's not just going for a base hit, he's going for a home run. And that's tough to do,
Yeah.
obviously, and especially when you're not seeing as many pitches to hit as you were. I don't want it to wait to the last game of the season, but against former Yankee farmhand Glenn Otto, who we traded for Joey Gallo, maybe
Maybe he'll give
a
us a cookie.
revenge. Like, thanks for Gallo. But yeah, no, I think he'll do it. Why not? Fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very disappointing if he didn't. I obviously hope he does as well. And in that Orioles series against Bautista, when they were down in the count, I think it was 3-1, and they just intentionally walked him. I mean, the Orioles aren't playing for anything. They're not playing for a playoff spot. Like, of course, like you don't want to lose the game because like you want to, keep winning for just to win, but they intentionally walked him, Judge, in a spot where they didn't really need to, and that was really frustrating because obviously it takes the bat out of his hands. And I mean, he's been walked. He's been walked so much over these last few weeks. I have to imagine his OPS is like 1,200 right now because
Yeah.
he's or not even his OPS, his on base percentage is extremely high just because of this reason. But yeah, I'm hoping he does it. I agree with, I think it was you, Brian, that said I think the pressure is a lot less here on the road in Texas. Obviously, they're on the road and not wearing the pinstripes, and I think hopefully that will allow him to do it. And I wonder if Maris Jr. will be in attendance. So we'll
Is he
see.
going to Texas?
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, he
He
went to
went to
Canada, so
Yeah.
I mean, he went to an entirely different country. So
in Judge's last 7, he's got a 581 on base. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
just stupid.
getting on base. But speaking of Felix Bautista, to change the subject for 1 second, it's crazy. It was crazy to me. Like I was watching it. I think I texted you guys. The dude's 6'5", and you see how big he is. He's listed at 190. There's no way that dude is 190, right? There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
He's got to be like 250,
You're not
225.
6'5", 190, and he looks like a big guy too. So
Yes, he's big. It's not only that he's 6'5", he actually just looks big.
Miguel Castro might be 6'5", 190, but
Yes. But Felix Bautista is a huge guy.
he is a huge guy. But let's hope that our huge guy will prove that
I
he
wanted
can
to bring
do
that
it.
up.
another thing like people are forgetting about, this Triple Crown is still in play. Arise is 315. He's at 311. Everyone's forgetting about that in the home run race. I know it's 4 points is a lot with 3 or 4 games left to go. The Twins have 3 games in Chicago against the White Sox to close out their season. You hope the Twins don't just sit Arise. It's something they could do. And if Judge can get hot for his last 3 games and get his average up there, maybe at least 314, Arise goes down 314. Like, you never know what could happen. That's something people still got to pay attention to. I know it was bothering me when during the home run race, like he hits a double, like that, like a double that like bounces like off the wall, and people are like, oh, like they're disappointed. Like his hits matter, like because the Triple Crown is a huge feat that like we want to like I think would be really awesome for baseball if he does it. And I know he's thinking about that. They say Michael K says all the time that he like hitting 300 is really important to him, which he has that locked up. But like the Triple Crown would be another like crazy.
It would be really cool. I mean, still a historical season nonetheless, obviously, but having the tag of Triple Crown would be cool. A cool thing to add to the resume.
And the new home run king. It's just like how much better could his season have gone from? The only thing that he's missing is a World Series now at this point. So let's see if Judge can complete his own Triple Crown of home run king, Triple Crown, and World Series ring. But speaking of the postseason's coming up, boys. I mean, like you said, Brian.
Baseball.
Like you said, Brian, I can't believe it's October. Like I remember our first episode of recording, and we did like a season, like a trade, the trade outlook on the Gary Sanchez trade. Had to get Gary in here, of course. It's just
he will
crazy.
not be in the playoffs.
What'd you say? Oh,
Gary will not be participating in the playoffs this year.
Like we've been doing this for 27 episodes, 7 months. I mean, this is like, and like we're here, like it's postseason time. So like this is what you build up for, and I just can't, like you said, I can't believe we're already here. But it starts up next week, for us at least. But for others, it starts this week. So just to give a little bit,
Mets and Braves, it started 4 nights ago.
That's true. It did. And the Mets folded, which is really, really wild.
It's crazy. You see all those things on Twitter about the Mets shitting on the Yankees when they were in their cold stretch or whatever, and then the Mets blow their division anyway.
Yeah, I saw was it KFC Barstool? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
All-time Yankee hater.
Yeah, Brian, you sent it last night. I saw it last night too. He said
it was. Are you reading it? Go ahead.
Yeah, he said don't need to whine about the Yankees. They are free falling. There's one team in New York City that has to worry about the division, and it ain't the Mets. So
bad look. That was from August 17th when the Yankees were in their bad stretch. I love seeing stuff like that because KFC is an all time, like he hates the Yankees. Like he wakes up and like tweets about the Yankees, like when he's like the Mets are in the middle of his race. Like that's what he's tweeting about.
He's like one of those guys saying that 61, 62 doesn't matter, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. 60 matters. Like 50 still matters.
If we're talking about this, like imagine if Alonso was doing this, like what they how they would be.
Yeah.
Bro. I was reading on Twitter. I don't know the other teams that made these collapses, but the Mets have the third worst division collapse in Major League Baseball history right now. That's how bad it is because they were up double digits.
The sweep, the getting swept was bad. Like that's blowing it. You blew it. But for the most part, the Braves getting back into this division. The Mets didn't crumble. They didn't crash. The Braves were on a record pace. They're a really fucking good team. But when you're in a playoff series, like we said, going for the division, the Mets really only needed to win one of those games. Like the one thing they just couldn't do is get swept because if they won one, then they would go into the last series tied, but with the tiebreaker, so technically up by one. And they're facing the Nationals, Braves facing the Marlins, so they probably would have won the division if they just won one game. But you go in there and get swept, reducing the Braves magic number to now one.
Talk about not
Tough,
doing your job.
tough,
I mean,
tough.
their offense has been brutal
Yeah.
without Starling Marte, and their pitching is folding. So
DeGrom is not a machine. He is human, huh?
I'm very excited to see what's going to happen to them in the playoffs. Because obviously for a lot of those guys on the Mets, like this is DeGrom's first postseason since their World Series run. So like it's going to be interesting. But I don't want this to turn into a Mets podcast. But
We're talking about all the league today.
yeah, I'm trying to find where did it go? Okay, here we go. So I guess while we're on the National League, we'll talk about the National League. At the moment, if the postseason started today, the Mets would be facing off against the San Diego Padres, which is very, very scary. I mean, I would be very worried if I was a Mets fan, to face off in a wild card against the Padres. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, they made that the biggest trade in MLB trade deadline recent history with Soto, who has been underperforming since he's been there. But we've all seen Soto in the playoffs, and that is not a guy you want to face. I mean, we all know him as. I still believe like he's the best hitter in baseball at his best. With the exception of Judge right now, because Judge at his best is historical. But like you see, Soto's a guy that can carry a team or an offense in the playoffs. Like I'll never forget, especially since it was the Mets now, and he might be in that stadium, the wild card when he hit that home run that was like literally almost left the stadium. Chase, I know you remember that one when he was the Nationals and he hit that like to the top of like
Yeah.
the last deck. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the Padres are a good team on paper. They have a good roster. They could like that's a team that could go and make some noise and beat anybody. Like even like they could win the wild card and go on to win the World Series. Like that is not a team I'd want to play in the wild card at all.
Mm-mm.
I think the Mets are better than the Padres. And
Yeah.
especially in a wild card series, 3 games are going to be at home. You got DeGrom, Scherzer, 1 and 2. I know they kind of just blew up. I mean, not blow up, but they lost in Atlanta. I still think the Mets are better.
They are better. I mean, we're not saying they're
I would
not
love
better.
to see the Padres pull it out. Nice upset.
Yeah, I mean, how many? It's not like every better team ever wins in the playoffs. Like
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just
teams
about
that are
getting hot
getting
at the right
hot.
time, and it looks like the Mets.
It looks like the Mets are getting. Yeah, it might be more of the Mets getting cold at the wrong time than the
Yeah,
team getting hot at the right time at this point.
yeah. It's gonna be fun series. I think that's gonna be one of the more fun series of the wild card. I feel like
And
It's
this
gonna be
is
because the
great.
Mets with all the hype
obviously
around them.
It's
this
gonna
is
be
obviously
amazing just watching the wild card series, not worrying about the Yankees for a week, just
Yeah.
taking in the baseball,
yeah,
and
but
then all time stress.
I am worried about getting a lot of days off for these guys, especially while their bats are hot. I'm a little worried about
That's true.
that.
I mean, we've seen this movie before with the Yankees. They go on a cold stretch in August. This cold stretch was a little longer and worse than in the past, but then they get hot in September and then they fold in August.
I mean, think about the last time the Yankees had like 3 or 4 days off. It was the All-Star break. They came out the All-Star break and they were horrible.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm a little concerned about that. But there's nothing you could do about it. I mean, what am I gonna say? I don't want them to win the division. I mean, come on, like let's be honest. But moving over to the other NL wild card, we got the Phillies and the Cardinals at the moment. Danny, I think you said the Phillies only need to win one more game, right? And then they clinch.
Yes, the Phillies need one more game to clinch, but they are playing Houston, so they could get swept by Houston, and then the the Brewers are playing Arizona, so they could sweep too. They could sweep Arizona. That would be crazy for Phillies fans. For the Phillies, they get swept in the last
Yeah.
series against the Astros and then lose out on the almost guaranteed playoff spot.
And then
They've
they've had a
been
lot of heartbreak. So
they've been pretty bad too, like in
Yeah,
general.
the Brewers have been bad too. The Brewers just dropped 3 out of 4 to the Marlins, which
talk about all these teams folding under the pressure. Holy crap.
yeah. But yeah, that would be that's it. You said St. Louis and the Phillies. I feel like St. Louis kind of got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the NLDS with that series, and then the Braves would face the winner of that result. The Braves are actually my pick to make it to the World Series this year. So I'm just gonna say they make it through the entire National League playoff rounds. What do you guys think? Who do you have coming out of the National League?
I think the Braves and Dodgers are the two best teams in the National League, definitely. There are some teams that could make noise again. Like I could see the Padres doing something. I could see the Cardinals doing something.
I see the Mets
Not gonna
too.
say the Mets.
I could see the Mets.
I could see it. I could see it. I just don't want to say it. But I do think the Braves and the Dodgers are the best team. Braves were there last year. It's hard to get back. I don't know. That's my NLCS. Braves Dodgers. Braves got a lot of momentum. Dodgers. Just
Are
because you said Braves,
insane.
I'll go Dodgers. Too.
So you got Dodgers coming out of the National League?
Yeah.
Okay. Danny, what do you think?
I want to be different, but I won't be. I'll say the Dodgers too. Dodgers gonna get back.
They're just the best team. Like they're just really good.
Yeah.
I think that the National League is like wide open. I think even the Cardinals, I think the Mets, the Dodgers, the Braves, I think any of those teams can make it to the World Series, but ultimately I do think that the Braves will find a way to get there again.
I honestly think
Um
the American League is more. I think the National League is not as deep as the American League is in this postseason. Like I can't see the Phillies really doing much. Padres, I would be surprised if they did. I really would be surprised if the Padres were, just based on how they've played in the second half and how they've kind of not looked the greatest at times. But the
we
American League, I could really see anybody going on a run there, except for maybe the Guardians. But again, they're a division winner, so they'll have that
Yeah,
home field
and they're
advantage,
on
and you never know.
fire right now.
Yeah, and
The,
they're
the
on fire.
Guardians the Guardians are on fire. So let's talk about that. Let's move over to the American League.
Yeah, I really could see any team from this American League making it. I mean, the Rays have done it before. They would seem like the one not to do it, but the Rays have done it before, and we know the Rays can. They have good pitching. They can make a deep playoff run. The Mariners obviously have a lot of confidence right now, and they have a chip on their shoulder. First playoff appearance in 20 plus years. We know the Blue Jays are all right. Astros obviously. But the Yankees are going to go all the way. Duh. Yankees are going to go all the way.
Yeah, so the Cleveland Guardians are facing against the Rays in that first, or at least as of right now, in that first series. Things could shake up over this final series of the Major League season, but as of right now, that's how it's looking. And then the winner of that series will go on to face the Yanks. And then on the other side of the wild card at the moment, it's Blue Jays Mariners, and I'm very excited to see that
That's
series.
fun. That's
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, we've seen firsthand how good the Mariners can be. They beat up the Yankees this year. Um, Other than the game that we went to, Danny, when the Yankees just
Yeah.
plowed through them. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, Mariners have great pitching. Pitching is obviously extremely valuable in playoffs. That's what gets you to the next round. But the Blue Jays also have good pitching of their own, so that's going to be super interesting. I'm very excited for that series.
Yeah, and
Mariners have a
Seattle has a
little.
1.5 game lead right now, and they're playing the Tigers, so I don't really see them blowing that to the Rays. So as of right now, I think it's going to be the Rays that we play,
Or Guardians.
or like that, yeah, or Guardians, yeah, whatever. That's what I mean. But I said this to you guys in the group chat. It was an unpopular opinion a while ago, but I want the Astros in the ALCS. So I know we got to make it there first, but I really, really want a playoff series against the Astros. I want it. I want it bad. I want it bad. There are some Astros fans on Twitter that need to be shut up. There's just we have to beat them.
But they have
Prove
every
that we're
right.
the best.
They have every right to talk though. I mean, they do.
Well,
Other,
they're BSingly talk about the Yankees celebrating their division like they shouldn't be because they're second in the American League, which doesn't make any sense. Um, but I want to beat them. I want to get a chance to play them. And if we lose to them, they're better. But I want to get a chance to beat them.
I mean, of course, that would be very that'd be enriching. But I'm excited to see, or not even excited. I'm happy that we don't have to go through the Blue Jays because I was texting in the group chat the other day. Um, I don't know how my heart would be able to handle like the Blue Jays and all their antics that they do with the jacket and then the celebrating like they won the World Series and it being Vlad's house and Springer when he does this to the crowd after he hits a home run to center field, like to shut up. It's just it would be very very difficult for me to get through that. So thank God we don't have to go through them unless if they meet in the ALCS. But
I think you might like it's. I agree. I just talked
Imagine
about
a
it
Blue
earlier
Jays
in the
Yankees
episode.
ALCS.
I hate them. I hate them so much. Like I made the distinction that I think they're my least favorite team, like in baseball, especially like to play against. I despise them, but that chance to beat them is like so hard to pass up.
Yes.
I would.
That's
So
what I'm
who
saying
would
about
beat
the
them at, like,
Astros. I
who would
want
you
to beat
rather
the
beat, the
Astros, but
Astros or the Blue
obviously
Jays?
the Blue Jays would be
Brian.
fun to beat too.
Probably, probably if I had to pick the Astros, just because they've done it to us so many times. Like the Blue Jays, I just hate because they're annoying. Like they haven't knocked us out so many times like the Astros have. So still taking Houston in that. But like, yeah,
The Blue Jays are such a cocky team. They need to be humbled. Like we spoke
and
very early in the
they're
season.
cocky based on nothing. Like
I
that's what
know
I don't
exactly.
understand.
We spoke very early in the season when the Yankees were facing Manoah. Like the Yankees need to humble Manoah in like his start. I don't remember if they did or not. I mean, it's
Judging
a
a
while back
bomb
now.
off him.
But like the Blue Jays, like all of those guys, like I mean, I guess Springer has a right to talk because obviously he's a champion and Springer's like still a beast. But
It's not on the Astros anymore, though. I mean, you
Yeah,
got to
like
know the team
they've
you're on.
accomplished literally nothing
like
since that team has been together.
what right does Vlad have? Like what right does
Like,
Vlad Guerrero have? What right does Bo Bichette have? Or Teoscar Hernandez, Alec Manoah? Like what do these guys have to be the cockiest team in baseball?
yeah, and I still remember earlier in the season when we had that series in Toronto, we beat them the first two games. Then they won the third game 2-1, and like tough loss for the Yankees, but they're celebrating like they just won the World Series as if we didn't take
Oh,
two
are
out of
you
three.
talking about when Vlad was
Yeah,
like
when Vlad like had the stretch and he like
yeah, yeah.
like no, shut up. Like I hate them too. Hate them. Hate them. I mean, I'm gonna be rooting for the Mariners. Obviously, I think the Mariners are a very fun team. They would be cool to see make it to the ALCS for the Yankees to beat. But
Um, so that's how the wild card round is shaking up. And then the winner of the Blue Jays and Mariners will go on to face the Astros. And then the winner of the Guardians and Rays, like we said, will face the Yankees. Who would you guys rather face, Guardians or Rays right now? Because
probably the Rays.
think about it, the Rays
The
find
Guardians are
way,
red
the
hot.
Rays find ways to win, but the Guardians are also like scorching hot right now.
I honestly think those are the two better teams. Like those are the two more beatable teams over the Blue
Oh,
Jays and
definitely,
Seattle,
definitely. I think we've
especially in an
gotten.
ALDS. Seattle's got the rotation to win in ALDS. Did I say LCS? I meant ALDS.
I think you said DS.
All right. But yeah, I think the second seed is better. I know if we do go to Houston, we won't have home field, but I feel like whatever. I'd rather be having the opportunity to face the Guardians or the Rays. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me and we lose. But
Who would you rather face, Brian? Guardians or Rays?
I think I'm gonna say Cleveland. I know they're hot right now, but again, like the Rays seem to have us figured out somehow every year. And I don't want to face that. Whereas like the Guardians, like we beat in like recently. Like I like that's a team I feel just more comfortable against, just because of the past. I guess like the Rays are always going to scare me, and we've had issues with them, like beef issues that we seem to never win. So like I would rather face Cleveland. Yeah.
yeah, and especially especially like a division rival. Like they know us better than anybody knows us. But
Yeah.
you could say like same goes for the other side. Like we know them better than anybody knows them. But I guess you'd rather the Guardians who we've beat and we beat this regular season too. So
I can't wait, man. I'm so
exciting. Even
excited.
just like even the wild card round, just sitting like I love baseball.
I feel like
Baseball's awesome, and I just love watching playoff baseball. Obviously, I can't wait for the Yankees, but I'll enjoy having the stress off for a little while and watching just playoff baseball, watching some fun baseball. But then it's
I
back
think
to stress.
I think even though the Yankees, at least in recent memory, recent years, have given us a lot of disappointment in the playoffs, I think some of my favorite baseball memories come from playoff baseball, and I think it's because it's with you guys. Like when we were
Yeah.
at the wild card game, and when Gio Urshela hit that grand slam against the at the time Indians, and we were all at my house and we were going crazy at like 10
That was
o'clock
awesome.
at night when all my parents were sleeping.
That was
And
that was awesome. That was cool.
they gave a lot of good memories. So I'm excited to hopefully, man. I mean, if they're not going to win this year, like, when are they going to
Yeah.
win? I mean,
No, it has to be this year. Has to be.
I feel like their playoff roster. I mean, they've been hitting well. Glaber Torres is back. I mean, he's such a big bat in the lineup. Hopefully they
Rizzo's
can get
looking good.
healthy. Rizzo's looking good. I mean, hopefully Benintendi might be back. Oswaldo Cabrera has made a statement as to why he needs to be in a playoff lineup. I mean, honestly, the only concern that I have is Garrett Cole. I mean, at the moment, like
And
that.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, but Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has actually been good over the last 21 games. We said that I saw that stat on Twitter today. That
And
he has like a
Giancarlo too.
120 WRC plus, which is 20 points above league average.
No, if this is the time for IKF to like be productive, I'm fine with that. I mean, we've talked about him before, how we didn't want to play shortstop in the playoffs because the errors problem, but he's going to. But he's been better in the field like as of late. So whatever. That's all he has to do to make me
He
happy.
still
is
makes
make those
the
routine
boneheaded plays, though.
Yeah, all he has to do in the playoffs to satisfy me is to make the routine plays. I don't care. Like, please, just do that.
But that's tough for him. That's why, like, I've been saying all season, you could see it. Like, he boot a ground ball and not get given an error, and then that'll score a run that the Yankees lose or something. Like,
Look, look, man. For me, it's an easy fix. If Benintendi gets healthy, you play him in left and you play Cabrera at short. I mean, it's easy.
that's what I would do.
Yeah,
but
I
don't
do
think they
too.
have any confidence in. Well, I don't think they want to do. They don't want to do that.
No, they don't. Like they traded for IKF for a reason. They want to show that they're right.
Which they already proven that they're not. But if he could be very helpful in a playoff run, then okay, fine, they're right.
I'm so interested to see what they're gonna do if Benintendi does get healthy for the playoffs, because Cabrera's earned himself a spot. I mean, we can all agree to that.
Absolutely.
And like obviously they traded for Benintendi to help them in the playoffs, like be that contact guy in the playoffs and that short glove in left field. It's gonna be interesting. Are they gonna bench Bader and make him a late game substitution and keep Judge in center and play Cabrera and right? It's gonna be interesting, man.
I mean, they have a lot of options.
But what about the infield now? Donaldson has been hitting a lot better of late.
Exactly, yeah.
Glaber's been hitting awesome. Obviously, Glaber can't play short. Who sits? DJ's back.
DJ sits.
Does DJ sit?
DJ sits. You can
fresh off a 6-year contract. DJ sits.
You cannot
not fresh
bench
off. I guess
Glaber or Donaldson right now. Glaber is our best hitter behind Judge right now. I mean, can we all agree to that?
And Donaldson has been hitting a lot better too.
Donaldson's been hitting really well since coming off the paternity leave, since he had another daughter. I mean, this guy's got the pop power back. I mean, he's looking like not prime Donaldson, but he's looking like a version of himself that could help us succeed in the playoffs. I mean, these guys deserve to play. And like we said, like these are good problems to have.
It feels like Josh Donaldson's hitting better. I mean, in his last 7, he's still hitting 192, 267, 231. Last 15, 250. But
well, it's just
I think Donaldson would be the one to get the boot.
Yeah, for DJ to play third. I agree with that.
And DJ's been very good at third, like defensively.
DJ's got to get his foot going though.
If he's healthy, I'd rather have Donaldson, who has the experience, the vet we know can be good, than a hurt DJ.
Look, man, Glaber being back is such a big boost for this team. I mean,
but he comes and goes so quick, so don't.
I know. I gotta see it in the playoffs.
He does, but Glaber's a postseason performer. We've seen it in the past. Like this guy's like knows the moment. He performs in the moment. It's not even like I'm worried about, like, I think it was you, Danny, that said I'm not worried about like, I guess what individual player plays. I'm worried about Boone making the right decision of who to play. Was it you that said that?
Yeah, I mean, I texted you guys that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Boone is just gonna make the wrong decision. Yeah, it's a good problem to have, but Boone is just gonna make the wrong decision. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun or a lot of just pain. And anger. And even lately, man, like I know that Garrett Cole has 324 million reasons to start game 1, but Nestor Cortez deserves it, man. He's
starting game 1 though.
He's got to be recognized as one of the best pitchers in the league now. Like,
I know Garrett's going to start game 1, but I just don't think that's fair to Nestor. I mean, Nestor, I think, had the lowest ERA of any Yankee pitcher ever, I think, this season. Was that the right stat?
Since Guidry in 70, whatever. But since the start of last season, Nestor Cortez has the second best ERA in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
to be recognized as one of the best pitchers in the league.
Absolutely.
Not just the Yankees.
And did you see what he did against the Orioles the other day? I mean, he carved them up. I don't know, man. He deserves it, but unfortunately, it's just not the I guess political decision. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for it. And next week, I think we'll get an episode in before game 1 of the ALDS, and hopefully might have a special guest coming on. We might have a special guest, so stay tuned for that. And
Aaron Boone is joining the show.
yeah, Aaron Boone is giving us his lineup decisions for the series. So make sure to tune in so you can get the first scoop. No, it's not actually Aaron Boone. In case you didn't get the sarcasm, but that's all I got for today. Anything else you guys want to?
Go Yankees. I mean, we'll talk before the playoffs, before it matters again. So
Yeah, let's go Aaron Judge. That's all we got to
Yeah.
look forward to
For
for
this
these
week,
last
let's go
4
Aaron
games. Yeah.
Let's do 62, boys. Let's do it. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at officialstnpod, on Instagram at Spreading the News. Make sure to subscribe and like the video on Spreading the News on YouTube. We need to get the YouTube going. So, and even TikTok, Spreading the News. Our TikTok has been getting some views and some likes on some of our posts. So, make sure you're not missing out on that. And I think I covered everything, right? That's all I got. So thank you all for listening. This has been Chase.
Brian.
Penny.
Let's go Yanks. Let's go Judge. And we will see you for our postseason preview and even season recap next week. Thank you all. Peace.